How you doing? So who are my top picks when it comes to the new Saga sector incursion? So unfortunately when it comes to Angela, she will not be one of them. So Kabam has somehow found a way to nerf the best champion in incursion. Uh so they found another way to nerf Angela in incursion. So I just want to let you know this is my top picks for incursion. When it comes to the best champion in incursion, it's very subjective because there are infinite zones in incursion. But I know some people only go to zone 25. In this case, we'll be going only to zone 15. So as I mentioned, they nerf Angela again because for this Saga sector, apparently limiting the zone to zone 15 is not enough for Command to nerf Angela. They had to basically take away the Odin synergy. So you cannot bring Odin synergy with Angela in for the Saga sector. Keep that in mind. So I just want to showcase to you what Angela can do. That's why I just want to give you a reason why they nerf Angela again. So this is the last time Angela was in the Saga sector incursion. You can bring Odin synergy, and this is only zone 15. So this is since there's infinite zones in incursion, this is less than 1% of Angela's power, okay? This is only zone 15, right? And I'm using a 5-star, okay? A 7-star rank 3 has more than double the attack of a 5-star. Keep that in mind. So this is literally just, and this is just a tiny fraction of Angela's power, less than 1% of Angela's power, since she has infinite ramp up with Odin Synergy. Let's see how long did that take. And keep in mind, this is the last fight when it comes to Zone 15 Saga Sectors. Zone 15, okay? 11 seconds. Many champions that are 7-star rank 3 cannot do that, okay? Only a few 7-star rank 3 champions can do that. Okay, and this is a 5-star Angela, and this is less than 1% of her power. That's what Kabam was too afraid of. That's why they got rid of Odin Synergy, because she is without a doubt the best champion in Incursion, and this is just a tiny fraction of her power. And if you're not convinced, um, her power, even though it's not linear, her power is pretty close to linear. So this is only pretty much only zone 75. So okay, because there's infinite zones in Incursion. This is more than 3 times the health of Overseer. Okay, more than 3 times the health. Let's see how fast 5-star Angela can beat this. Okay, and also I'm not running any boosts of any of these fights. Over 3 times the health. Okay, so you expect it if it's linear. I'm just gonna let you know it's not quite linear. Since this is zone 75 compared to zone 15, it's 5. You would expect Angela to have 5 times the damage, but not quite, but it's very close. As you can see, 8-second fight. That was it. Almost 4 million health in 8-second fight. Okay, almost 4 million health, 8 seconds with a 5-star. Okay, so you could kind of see how it scales when it comes to her power. It's not quite linear, but more than 3 times the health and even 3 seconds faster. So unfortunately for Kabam, as not only I guess for this Saga sector, nerfing Angela without Odin Synergy was not enough again, and limiting it to Zone 15 also was not enough for Kabam. So they pretty much got rid of Defense Cascade. They got rid of Defense Cascade, so they made up some lame excuse saying that nobody uses it, or not many champions can access it, or something like that. So with Defense Cascade, you don't have to throw a special attack. So not once in this fight I threw a special attack. You can see that. You see how much damage she does? She doesn't need to with Defense Cascade to throw a special attack. Keep that in mind. You want to have uh, Tide of Combat with Angela, but that means she can take on Tyranny and Polka Dot Power because she doesn't have to throw a special attack. But unfortunately, they got rid of Defense Cascade. As a reminder, because Angela's just too powerful with it, as you could see. And what about polka dot power? I mean, what about power shield? Here, let me show you power shield. Keep in mind, this is over 2.9 million health, almost 3 million health. Power shield. You can even combine this with polka dot power, tyranny. Let's see how can Angela beat this Ronin without throwing a special attack. This is without her without throwing a special attack. Okay, let's see. Can Angela beat this power shield node without throwing a special attack? And let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Look at that. That was a. By the way, that was a 3-star Thor relic. Okay, that was a that did over 4 million damage. That was a 3-star Thor relic, and using a 5-star Angela. So So there's really nothing Angela cannot solo with Defense Cascade. Some fights are going to be harder for sure, but you can waste good around it with strategic movement, but they also remove that. So getting rid of Defense Cascade is really just a big nerf to Angela, which is really unfortunate. So unfortunately, like I said, Angela will not be one of the best champions for the Saga sector. So who are the best champion for the Saga sector? So let's take a look at a few fights. This is Scream. Like I said on the first, I made a video. Look at that. Immunity armor break. Can you see that? Let's see. Immunity to armor break. That is a big nerf to Scream, especially with title combat, which I have for this fight. So this is almost 800,000 health. 5-star Scream, not ascended. Okay, let's see how well can Scream do. So keep in mind I have hemostatic charge, which is really the most important hack for Scream. And I do also have the no synergy. It is pretty much done deal with the no synergy. And you can see why no synergy comes very handy. I do have Heimdall synergy here too. Keep that in mind. But really, I don't know if it's really necessary. But no was really the biggest reason why I was able to solo this, I believe. And you do have second chance as well as a hack, and I don't have it in this one. So which is better than Heimdall synergy. Look at that, 22-second fight, immunity to armor break, and 22-second fight with Scream. That is just crazy. As I already mentioned, no synergy. Let me just, you know, it's very debatable if it's Scream is the best champion. Remind you, if only going to zone 15, without the no synergy. With the no synergy, without a doubt, she Scream is the best champion for in Incursion, not just Saga Sector, in Incursion. Okay, so because she can cheese so many fights, depending. This all depend on the rank you have. Keep in mind, just do a comparison if you're using, depending on the rank you have, which I'm going to talk about later. Okay, but I'll just say now because, like I said, depending on the rank you have, you know, a 7-star rank 4 Scream has more than double that attack compared to 6-star rank 4, and compared to this 5-star Scream has like, what is that? More than 4 times, like more than 3 times for sure, maybe more than 4 times the attack of a 7-star rank 4. So depending on your rank champion, it really depends. But with no synergy, you can cheese so many fights because you get 10-second indestructible, and then with the second chance, that's a total of 17 seconds of indestructible. So you can cheese a lot of fights with them combined. You can cheese like aspect of nightmares, biohazard, champions that can inflict damage over time like Abomination, Morningstar. She can do it because she'll be indestructible a total of 17 seconds with no and second chance. So keep that in mind. So I have no idea what hack I was using here for Morbius, a bunch of random hacks. But most importantly, second chance was the most important hack to have. So keep that in mind. So I have hemostatic, but you really want to combine hemostatic with title combat with Morbius. Keep in mind this is a 4-star, by the way. Okay, and I don't have title combat, so I was just in incursion, making just random, just going, just whatever, and casually, you know, picking up random hacks. I guess hacks that not, I don't think it's optimal for him, but most important thing is look at that, 171,000. Okay, 171,000 with a 4 star in 12 seconds. That is crazy. Okay, this is 253,000 Rhino. Let's see how well he does. And I don't even have title combat, which is very important to have when you have hemostatic charge. But really, main biggest, uh, you gotta have hemostatic with this guy. Morbius, he does a lot of damage. Keep in mind, this is a 4 star, okay? Without boost, 4 star not ascended as well. Let's see how well. And if the champion can bleed, you just really just want to spam special one with Morbius. And that's the reason why. You saw that? This is a 4 star, okay? 325,000 damage in 22 seconds with the power sting. So just keep that in mind. So another, and what makes Morbius great for Incursion, he's also damage mastery friendly. So in here, I, I always run damage mastery in my pay to win account, but I decided to take it off because when it comes to Deadpool X-Force, he has a synergy with Black Bolt that gives you an armor up buff. But if you're bleeding, it's gonna be removed. So so I had to take off damage mastery in my pay to win account to be able to do this. And I haven't taken off damage mastery probably like I would say 2 years or so. So this is crazy just to make this video. So you're not gonna bring Heimdall synergy in incursion, just keep that in mind, but you do have second chance, so that will help you if you need to make a mistake like I did here. So you really just want to get to your special two to special one once you get 10 slap charges. And you know as you can see, it does that much damage. I messed up here again, but here second chance kick in. And I don't really recommend bringing using Deathful Exports against non champions that are bleed immune. So I messed up with the rotation here. I'm supposed to go to special one, special two to special one because you want to be able to stun opponent. But instead, I went to special one to special two. But keep in mind, this is really why the gameplay is really great. This is coming from an average player, so it will not be perfect. And if I'm an average player, you're an average player, or even better than an average player, you're gonna be able to do what I did. Okay, so again, I don't really recommend bringing Deadpool against Bleeding Mean Champion, but as you can see, I'm using a 5 star, not ascended, and without damage mastery. You can see a big difference um, with how much damage he can do. So your really goal is to bring 10 slap charges and throw your special one. You want to avoid throwing your special two with Deadful Exports, but you need to have Hemostatic is the most important one, and you definitely want to have Title Combat. Did you see how much damage it did? That's in 15 seconds. 5 star, not ascended without damage mastery. 15 seconds. Okay, over 3.2 million health. Okay, power sting damage. And keep in mind, if you're only going to zone 15, you're not going to gonna see opponents with half of that health pool. Okay, so even a 4 star can do that much damage if you're only going to zone 15. 15-second fight. And just in case somehow your opponent doesn't throw his special attack, you can see what he can do if opponent does not throw his special attack. Okay, so if they don't throw a special attack, but this is what you want to do, or pretty much this is what's gonna happen. Like I said, build to 10 slap charges, throw your special one. You want to avoid throwing your special two. As you can see here, throw your special one. Look at how much bleed it's doing. As you can see, if he doesn't throw a special attack, he can just, knock out from the bleed. But for some reason, she decided to throw it at the last minute or the last second, and it still did over 3 million damage with the power sting. It's really crazy. Like I said, you don't want to, you want to avoid fighting against champions that are bleed immune with this guy because you want to spam special one. Usually you want to spam special two, special one, but in incursion with hemostatic and title combat, you want to be able to spam your special one. Not you don't want to avoid trying special two, but against bleed immune champion, you want to get your 10 slap charges, go to your special two, then throw your special one. But this is really one of the hardest fights you can have, and if you're only going to zone 15, you're not even going to see this type of PI or health pool. And this is a 5-star, by the way, without damage mastery, unascended. So this is such a big, tough fight for him, obviously, because his Sandman is bleed immune, and um, what is this? And I'm power lock 2 passive, so I can't even build close to my special 3. And because if I can build my power bar close to special 3, I can go special 2 to special 1. But here I gotta build to special 1, and while I build to special 1, I'm getting this uh, weakness debuff on me, so it barely does any damage when it comes to my speed debuff because of that weakness debuff on me. Again, this is why they remove defense cascade. You can see how OP it is, and I don't want to mislead you guys when it comes to defense cascade. It did spend a lot of units to get to this level in incursion, because it's not gonna work all the time. You know, defense cascade works really great with Angela uh, and Mr. Sinister, especially with a plus 50% stun duration. When it comes to Mr. Sinister, as you can see, if you haven't seen it already, I have plenty of fights with Mr. Sinister with Defense Cascade. It's just really just that's why Kabam got rid of it, because how OP that hack is. So here Heimdall saved me. You know, something I said about 18 months ago, Heimdall is the best champion in Incursion, or the most important champion in Incursion, and I still believe that. I know if you only play Battlegrounds, that's probably not going to be the case, but I don't really play Battlegrounds, so that's why I believe Heimdall is still the most important champion in the game, and the fact that you only need a 3-star Heimdall is without a doubt the most important champion in the game. That's why Kabam wants to ban him for Saga's sector Incursion, because how important he is in MCOC. So I'm not gonna go through the entire video, but you can see how OP Defense Cascade is, especially if you have you can stun your opponent uh, when he throws your special when you throw your special attack. Like Hercules also works really well with it. You can see how long did that take? Over 3 minutes. So you don't want to bring uh, Deadful experts against bleed immune champions. So let's be more realistic. As you can see here, my first attempt at Saga Sector, I got almost all the way to Zone 4. I'm using a 5-star Scream and 6-star rank 4 Morbius. I forgot to put a relic on him. Don't know if how much difference that would make. But really the hardest part about Incursion is getting all the hacks. Once you get all the hacks, it's really like you can like solo really hard fights. You know, getting the right hacks, and that's the biggest flaw when it comes to Incursion, and that's why it takes the fun away. By the time you get all your hacks in Incursion, you know, if you're only going to zone 15, the fight's already over. So it's really like there's no point most people don't want to keep going because there's no more rewards after zone 15 when it comes to Saga Sector. So it's like when you get all your hacks, the fight's already over. So it's like I wish Kabam figure was able to give you all the hacks in like the first zone, or even just the first four zones. It would make such a big difference. Obviously, they can make Incursion more fun or more interesting if they increase the zones in Incursion, and obviously give better rewards. For people that want to play for rewards as well. But it's really unfortunate that when it comes to hacks, it's only like it's so hard to get them. And really, like I said, if once you get all the hacks that you need, it the incursions is really not bad. Like you can beat the hardest fight if you have the right hacks in incursion. I can tell you, I can prove to you why Sandman is better than um Silk in Incursion if you have the right hacks. But the problem is you have to get the right hacks with Sandman to show how good he is in Incursion. So this is a realistic gameplay. This I had hemostatic charge with Deadpool X Force. So look at that, 320,000. So big difference without title combat. It's really like increases damage by 10 times with title combat. So there you go, and you can see a gameplay. This was in the first zone with um, Deadpool X Force. So either I would bring Deadpool X Force or Morpheus, but I would definitely use Scream and no synergy on the team. So this is kind of gives you a realistic. I don't want to say realistic. I guess you could say it's realistic, but unfortunate realistic. I guess if you because it's really hard to get the hacks you want. This is just the first zone with hemostatic charge. As you can see here, if you can't beat him, he doesn't die from the power sting. You can just bleed. You just bleed from the knockout. Um, knockout from the bleed. So there you go. Let's talk about who are other champions that are good for Incursion, Saga Sector. Again, if you're only going to Zone 15, I think even without Angela, I think this is, I mean, without a doubt, the best Saga Sector team you can have when it comes to Incursion. Um, so I already talked about Scream. Angela, unfortunately, is not going to be the best option. I think Black Widow can be good. I don't really know. I know Medusa. Some people have used Medusa, so she can be good for Incursion. Um, what do you call that? Increase stun duration by 50%, as well as what else? Have that. What do you call that? Hack that 20% return your 20% of your power. You'll be able to do like pretty much chain your special 2 with Medusa. Having hemostatic as well with title combat, you're just gonna melt the opponent, with Fury Burst as well. So I already talked about Deadpool. No, it seems like an underrated champion. I feel like he's gonna be good with title combat, especially if you could make him a herald. But unfortunately, you cannot make him a herald and Saga Sector. Red Skull can be good. Usually, he's very good with Defense Cascade and Title Combat. But as I already mentioned, they removed Defense Cascade. But he's also good with Draining Degen and Title Combat for him. Spider Ham, I think he's underrated for Incursion with Title Combat. And really, that's the biggest one. Title Combat with Spider Ham, you're gonna melt a lot of opponent for sure. Who else? Quicksilver seems like he's very good with a new hack. It's called Fear Burst. I'm going to talk about it later. Silk, I think a lot of people know Silk can be good for Incursion with title combat. But the problem with Silk is when it comes to Silk, if you run into Morningstar, Abomination, what else? Biohazard, and other nodes that inflict damage over time, she's just not going to be good for it unless you have second chance. But if you do have second chance as well as title combat, you do want to have as well as 50% stun duration with Silk, and you're going to be able to do just fine for a lot of nodes. So if you have second chance, uh, Toxic Siphon, depending on the rank you have as well, you're going to do fine in Incursion with Silk. I can tell you that. With title combat, 50% stun duration, the two most important hacks to have. As I mentioned, it really depends on the hacks you have. I'm only showcasing you the 5-star, but in the game there's already 7-star rank 4. So, dealing with, it not I know it's not a popular demand, but it's, you have 7-star rank 4s in the game, and you're only facing opponents with 1 million health in Incursion, by the way, which doesn't really make sense. So you don't even need hacks to be able to. Some champions, like, you bring Scream with no synergy, you hacks doesn't really matter if you have a 7-star rank 4. That's just it's just crazy. Like, you know That's how, I don't know. It's just crazy. Depending on the rank you have, you're just gonna fly through Saga Sector. 7-star rank 4 Scream, Sig 200 with damage mastery. She's second chance with no synergy. Uh, it's over. Okay. Sand, Sandman, like I said, if you the hardest part about Incursion, unfortunately, is getting the hacks. So I wish Kabam could actually fix that. I think that's what ruins Incursion, what makes Incursion not fun. But I will have a Sandman gameplay to show you how good this guy is if I have the time or if I get lucky with the hacks as well. He's really good. I can prove it to you why he's better than Silk with the right hacks. Obviously, Hulk is pretty good. I think he's one of the synergy partners as well, and so is Deadpool X-Force. Deadpool X-Force is also one of the synergies if you want to try to complete one of the objectives as well. So who else? I think yeah, Sentry. I think he's gonna be all right for Incursion. When it comes to Hulk, 50% stun duration, you're gonna just pretty much you get that Fury Burst. It's just gonna be really just OP. Sentry also, once you get 10 charges, and he doesn't really have to rely on hacks too much, but he's gonna be good for Incursion once you have 10 charges for him. Purgatory, I think she's gonna be good for Incursion as well. Uh, if if I haven't mentioned it already, or mention it again, this is without a doubt the best champions for Saga Sector, even without Angela on the team. If you're only going to Zone 15, so that's really it. I think Juggernaut. I think Surfing as well is okay for Incursion. With second chance, he seems like just invincible, like immortal with second chance. If as long as you have him awaken at max sig. And Juggernaut, I think Juggernaut's gonna be very fun. Biggest problem with Juggernaut is there's a lot of nodes that inflict non-damaging debuffs, which makes him a lot weaker. But if you have the right hacks with this guy, Rage into combat is really important. Fury Burst, Tide of Combat. I would say Fury Burst is even better. Rage into combat, Fury Burst, uh, Second Chance. What else? That's really the biggest thing. Rage into combat, Fury Burst, um, and Second Chance. You're gonna go really far with Juggernaut in Incursion. All I can tell. That's all I can say, really. Oh yeah, I already mentioned Morbius, of course. I heard Count Nefaria it could be good for Incursion. Gladiator I think could be good for Incursion as well. Maybe Jack O' Lantern, but this one she's new. I know a lot of people don't have her, but with the right hack, she can melt opponent. Hemostatic, Fury Burst, Tide of Combat. You know, I would say second chance because she doesn't have any immunities, as well as compounding harm. You're just gonna melt the opponent with those hacks. Hemostatic and Tide of Combat, most important one. Tide of compounding harm, Fury Burst, and second chance. It's just gonna melt the opponent. I can tell you that. So let's go to the fight. Like I mentioned, which I would use, and they came up with a new hack. Let me just look at it. Let me just show you guys. So this who I would choose for Incursion. I would use Scream, and I would use No. Personally, if you go with Scream, with no synergy, with Scream and Silk synergy, you can just use Tide of Combat because they all work really well with Tide of Combat. So it's no, this team is gonna be really good, I think. If you, because especially in the earlier rounds, you can also take out Silk later on rounds if you got the hacks you want. But with Silk, you just really need Tide of Combat mostly and 50% stun duration. But if I had to go with a team, I would use either Morbius. Personally, I would use Morbius because he can handle Biohazard, Morningstar, Abomination, As long as you have him awakened, you probably want him to be max sick, but you just need him to be awakened. He's damage mastery friendly. Also, when it comes to Morbius, that's why he's one of the best champions for Incursion. What else? I would pick, or I would go with this guy. This guy. When it comes to Deadpool X-Force, I personally would go with. Let's just pick him. I personally would pick uh, Deadpool X-Force over Morbius if you can make him a horseman. Unfortunately, you cannot make him a horseman here because you cannot bring Apocalypse Synergy. If he was a horseman, he would be able to take on Morningstar as well as Biohazard, which is gonna you're likely going to see in here. So again, it's kind of weird. I think they figured out Second Chance was too OP, so they removed it in the first hack. So, but I would go with Fury Burst. It's really good. I would say personally, I would go with Fury Burst. I really would love to have Second Chance here, but it's just I would just use what do you call this? Hemostatic charge combined. Like this is Fury Burst is not as strong as Tide of Combat, but combine it with hemostatic, it's just gonna do a lot of damage, I would say. So that's really it. That's my options and team for Incursion Saga Sector. Thank you.